Hey everyone, welcome to the tech capital of the world. I'm Bobby Dave, CEO and founder of Coder Foundry. And Kevin, I've got to ask you a question. Did you see 60 Minutes the other night?
I did. I did. Crazy show.
So,
I watched it and then I'm like, are we really talking about this? Is this like, is this, hold on, have I gone to like a weird side of the internet where we talk about these weird things? Like, because I normally just
UFOs.
make fun of these things. And I'm like, this is on 60 Minutes. Like, we're talking about UFOs, as they called them, UAPs, on 60 Minutes. I was like,
Yeah, they
this
had
is
to change
nuts.
the name. Like UFOs aren't good enough, so we got to call them UAPs.
Yeah, what was it? Unidentified aerial phenomenon, I think they called it.
Okay.
That's
So
apparently the new
maybe
thing.
what they saw was a phenomenon and not an object.
Oh, maybe. I think the reason they changed this, and I think they probably changed it like within. I think this is like a military style name, right? I think they
Right, yeah,
changed it because you think UFOs, you think little green men, and they're like, please don't think little green men.
right.
I think that's kind
Giant
of
and
like
blue.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have three eyes, not just the two.
I think
Um,
what really happened on the name, Kevin, is that they went to Microsoft to name it, and Microsoft changed the name. So they're like
that's probably
UAPs.
true.
That's what we should
No,
call them.
because we'd stuck with Maui or whatever. I mean, UAP is actually not that bad. Like, it'd
Right.
be
Yeah.
way worse if they let Microsoft at it.
Yeah. Microsoft would name it after a river or like a bridge or something with a really
Yeah.
long acronym. Yeah. So
Yeah. They totally would. They totally would. Yeah, but it's not. So if you guys didn't see this, like they had this, they had a crazy bit on UFOs on 60 Minutes.
and so if
So
you're overseas, 60 Minutes is like a hard news, supposedly hard news program,
it's
and
legit news. I mean, look at what they're talking about over here. They're talking about, I mean, it's like
yeah,
it's genuine news. I mean, as much as genuine
right.
news can be genuine news, like like, but it's it has a reputation. It's not they wouldn't. They're not talking about like Elvis is alive kind of stuff on here. It's not
Elvis is flying this thing.
it's kind of crazy.
So I've
So
heard
yeah,
like
it's
they
nuts.
said that it was going 13,000 miles an hour against the headwinds.
Yeah, I saw that. It went. Apparently, it moved like so far in like seconds. It moved 60 miles or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, that's not possible. I'm like, well, is it not? I don't know. Like,
Apparently it is. So,
apparently it is. Yeah. So yeah. But I'm
my take on it is that it's a really advanced drone. It's a U.S. drone, and we're just telling the world what we have. I think
right via
they've
60
invented
minutes.
a new, yeah, a new class of drone. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I'm with you. I think it's definitely terrestrial technology ultimately that's
yeah,
just in advance. We were talking about this the other day. So a few weeks back, I was, we weren't here at one point. I went to the beach, right? So the beach here is
yeah,
like the Outer Banks where the Wright Brothers flew their first plane, right? So you can go, there's a
yeah,
memorial there. There's a version of the plane you can go. It's very cool. It's a very, very cool thing to do. So I went to see that. And this was like 1906 or 1907, right? So we're
right,
talking about just over 100 years ago. And I came back thinking, man, 100 years ago, the first plane launched. Then in 1969, we went to the moon, right? We built a rocket to go to the moon. Like, that's a massive
right.
advancement in a short period of time. And I'm like, from 69 to now, like, what's that giant thing that we've done as far as planes go? I mean, and for me, it's like, wow, it kind of slowed down. But did it?
Yeah, autopilot, but did it?
But did it?
So stealth,
you know?
so stealth's coming out. That came out in '91 when we landed in Iraq. Like that's everyone saw that thing for the first time.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. You can go and look at one of those now, at, like in DC. You can go look at like the Blackbird plane that's in the
yeah,
museum there in DC, and it's like
yeah,
that was like crazy when that came out. And then the stealth thing was the next thing. It's like stealth bomber. You can
yeah.
go see one. Like it's you
Mhm.
know what I mean. It's like it's kind of, and they do look out of this world. They really do.
They do look crazy.
They do
Flying
look
triangle.
crazy. Exactly, they are. They're kind of nuts. Kind of crazy, but yes, maybe this is why we do have Space Force. I make so many Space Force jokes, it's not even funny. But
We
but
started
maybe
it
it's
for a reason, Kevin.
maybe it's a real thing. Like maybe this is like
I
the next
mean,
thing. Maybe this is why 60 Minutes is covering it because maybe we do
yeah.
really need Space Force. I don't know. Uh, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm with you. It's some kind of weird drone.
We know it's not the DJI Maverick 47. So like,
It might be. It might be. It might be Chinese. It might be. It might
yeah,
be the latest the DJI drone from China. Maybe
the DJI
The
drone.
Phantom 7. that we haven't quite got yet.
Because one of the big problems, Kevin, is when the wind blows, it blows your drone everywhere. So this one apparently in a headwind can go 13,000 miles an hour. So that's
yeah.
When you're following me on my mountain bike with your DJI drone, it needs to go 13,000 miles an hour.
I did take mine out to the beach once, and so I have a what do I have? I have a Phantom. That's the first one. I think it might be the second one. I forget which one it is. But I took it out to the beach once, and it was kind of windy, and I was like, I'm gonna fly it anyway. And it had a hard time coming back in. It took a lot longer to come back in than it did to go out. I was kind of worried at one point that I'm gonna lose it. So you gotta be careful with them. But yeah, this fixes that. Because it can come back to me at 13,000 miles an hour about.
Exactly. A little more dangerous when it hits you in the face. So.
Exactly. Landing it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So we thought that was interesting. I was interested in your guys' take on that stuff too. Like, from a technology standpoint more than anything, I think, how much hidden technology do you think there is that the public doesn't know about?
It implies anti-grav, though.
Well, it implies some kind of propulsion system that is non-visible.
So it implies anti-grav. So those super meta materials that when they're super cooled, they can float and seemingly defy gravity. Right. I think it's something like that. They've figured out how to do that either at room temperature or cool the whole thing or something like that.
Right.
And it can fly anywhere. It can go really fast.
And maybe there's VR in this thing too. Maybe the pilot sat back at the thing like the drone pilot.
There's no pilot in it. I mean,
the pilot sat back at the thing just like a drone pilot is, right? Because they're sat in like these. There's that movie about that was super good. Right. Talks about flying these UAVs and these drones and how they work, and they're sat in a bunker in like Phoenix. Like flying over somewhere in the Middle East or something. It's kind of crazy.
Guardians in the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they could fly those drones across the universe. So, those things.
Right. There you go. Same kind of thing.
Complete with 80s video game sounds. So it was really accurate.
Definitely true to life. Maybe it's more true to life than we realize. Okay, so let's get off weird drones. weird drones and outer space and little green men. Gray men, or whatever you want to call them. What else do we want to talk about? Want to do? Let's talk about Thursday real quick and your weekend first. Let's do that before we jump into the course thing.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm doing this weekend is we are attempting our second run as our Coder Foundry raid team to conquer the world's first raid, which releases Vault of Class reaches Saturday at 1. So we'll publish that on Twitter. And so a lot of you came out and watched our last run, which we did fail miserably at. So,
hey, that's fine.
I love some of your comments that were coming and watching it. Hey, do you know that Aztec Cross is farther than you? And I'm like, yes. He's a professional gamer. Dado beat me. Yes, I know. But I do think that this time, if you watch it, I think we'll clear this one for sure. And it should be a fun time. And I've put together a crack team. And I made them all posters.
Yeah, you made them all little cards. So first thing, it's going to be on Twitch. So I put the link down in the comment. And we'll be tweeting about this coming up to next weekend and stuff too. So we'll put plenty of stuff out there. But we're going to be streaming it on Twitch. Let's see. I can share one of the posters here. Here you go. So this is one of your teamies.
One of my teammates, the clan, Ninja Sheep, and he wants Bungie to buff fusion rifles. So I make comments for all of our team. And so if you play Destiny, he's a warlock. So
there you go. I like it.
It's pretty funny. So I made little team cards for each of our team as we hit world's first conquer it. So what we have to do, Kevin, is this one's different. This one was released in Destiny 1. So everyone kind of knows it's been playing Destiny since Destiny 1. We kind of know what this raid is kind of be like. So there's not a lot of discovery. So to get the world's first, you have to beat it once, and then you have to beat it the second time and beat all the challenges through the raid. So there's typically 5 or 6 encounters, and I'll have a special hard mode to each encounter. So you got to beat it twice in the first 24 hours. So to get the raid jacket.
How many hours are you playing this on Saturday is the question.
Well, last time we played from 1 p.m. to right at 6 a.m. So I'm hoping that.
Jeez, did you really play that
better
long?
Than that.
Did you really play that long?
We left around 5:30 or something like that. But this time around, I think we'll be in this before midnight for sure. The second time around, I think we'll beat the first
Okay.
time around in 2 hours. I think we're going to hit it in 2 hours.
Okay. My video
So
gaming
2 to
these
3
days is like, I pick it up for like a half an hour, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Right.
I don't have those marathon sessions anymore. That's crazy.
But this
Yeah,
red
if you wanna
team's
watch
serious
that.
though. We had a meeting last night about mods and like how we're going to interact. We're getting serious. We're gonna do this. I don't
Okay,
know if
I
we'll
like
be
it.
absolute first, but we will clear it the first day. So
Okay, cool. Cool. So
so
if
as
you want to
long
watch
as I
that,
beat Datto, I guess I can have a claim to fame to some of you guys. So like, I don't know if you know who Datto is. He's probably the most famous Destiny streamer on the planet. So
that's it.
he's never beaten world's first. He's always finished second or third. He's kind of
Okay,
good.
interesting.
Though. All right.
Interesting. I like it. Do one thing here real quick. Look, it's super hot there. What's 38 degrees Celsius in? I know that's very hot. What is that? That's
I don't know.
That's 100 degrees right there today. So MSV, that's hot. Yeah, definitely keep hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
That's pretty toasty. We're not that warm here today. What are we? We're like 70. It's a nice day. It's like a California style
nice day.
although it's not very sunny. Okay. Okay. So I promised we talk about one thing about the course today.
Yeah, we got a huge announcement about it. Actually, a minor announcement.
Yeah, don't say huge because these guys are going to think it's about the date, and it's not about the date. It's not about the date. Let me just put that out there first. It is not about what date it's going to be released. It's not that. So I don't know. You can talk about this.
Okay, so one of the things that we were running into when we built the course out is what should we do with Bootstrap? And so we're right on the edge of Bootstrap 5 was just released. So our course is going to come out with Bootstrap 5. And so in my recordings and the things that we're building out, I kind of ran into a problem like, hey, there's no Bootstrap 5 snippets that I liked. I had one before for Bootstrap 4 that was amazing. And I think snippet generators for things like Bootstrap help you in your development process. And so we use them quite a lot here at Coder Foundry. And so Coder Foundry made their own Bootstrap extension for VS Code.
Yeah. So we have a Bootstrap
and it
extension.
Came out today.
That's out. You can actually get it. So just so you know, like what this actually does is it accompanies Bootstrap, and it basically allows you to type in just a little quick command in VS Code and create a whole bunch of Bootstrap stuff for you. It's very cool. So yeah, we made our own. Let me show you here. Look. So it's in the Visual Studio Marketplace. It's called Bootstrap 5 Snippets by Coder Foundry. And actually, if I refresh this, I can say we rebranded this a little bit. I can say we new logoed this morning. That's weird that one came up. Actually, I don't know why that one came up, but we got a new logo. So yeah, so this is this is a repository. You can install it from here. You can install it straight from VS Code too.
Yeah, and so like I'll show you real quickly what it does, but notice we got 6 installs, Kevin. We need to get that install up. So if you're using VS Code, give us some installs.
Yeah, we'd love if you give it a shot.
And just know that this is probably our 1.0 version, and there's a lot more that we're going to add to this as we go. So, and it's really cool. I think it is anyway.
Let me put a link down here too. While you links in chat. Okay. So I don't know. So you want to show him this thing?
Yeah, let's show.
You want to give me a demo?
I'll give you a demo. I can do that. Check it out. Picture in picture, Kevin.
I like it.
Doing good. All right. So what you're looking at right here is VS Code. And what I want to do is normally we would have to type in a bunch of stuff just to get a basic template up. And so as you can see here, I've got the Bootstrap 5 snippet here installed from Coder Foundry. And this is the one I was using before. That was the Bootstrap 4 one. So now I've got the 5 one. And so what you can do is you can type in a couple of keywords. You can type in BS, which stands for Bootstrap, CF dash, and then that gets you an entryway into all the snippets that we have. And I'm going to just type in template because, that's kind of what we're doing here. And I've got some templates here, like the top nav. I got a sticky footer one here. And I'm going to pick this one right here, which is just sticky footer. And it generates my Bootstrap for me. And you can see over here, if I refresh it, what it did here. It added a nav bar. It added me some HTML, some placeholder HTML, and a sticky footer down at the bottom of the page. And I didn't have to do anything to do that.
You know what's cool about this? Even I can use it.
Yeah, even Kevin can use it. But it's kind of modular. So like I can go in here in this main container here, and I can add another template inside of here too. So another snippet. So I'm going to say BSCF dash, and I'm going to add, say, a modal. Check this out, Kevin. So I'm going to have modal center to large. We'll do extra large modal. And see, now it's updated my page, and check it out. Now it has this modal right here in the middle of the page, ready for me to add content.
That's great, because this gives you like a jumping off point, doesn't it? That's the way I look at this. And the way that we intend to use this, we're going to obviously use this in the course too. So there's going to be certain parts where we're going to obviously use Bootstrap in the course, and we're going to say like, hey, just use this template. Like once you understand it, you're like, you don't need to type the whole thing out. You can just use this little template.
So I just add a quick little link here, and HTTPS, and I'll say learn.coderfoundry. And I'll make this bigger so I can see what I'm doing actually. And then so that's kind of cool, right? And so now what I can do is I can go back over here, and I've got autosave on. So you can see now I've got this kind of link in here now. And it takes me out to the learn.coderfoundry page. And I saw a question in there, Kevin. They asked, hey, are you guys using .NET 5? 100%. This thing is .NET 5, Bootstrap 5, and it's more than a curriculum. There's a lot of like very cutting edge things on it. And then by the time next year rolls around, it'll be in .NET 6 as well. So
right,
it's kind of cool. But that's kind of neat. And so like there's some other things I could add in here. So like I could I'm gonna come in here and see here. This is my modal. I'm going to add another one, and I'm just going to add a simple table, because a lot of times you need a table to do things. So I'm going to do table, and see now it's generated a table for me, and that's also, I think, kind of cool. I actually put that inside the modal.
So we'll see what it did though. Did it work?
Yeah, it'll work. It'll work. So I just put it inside, but I don't want to put it in my modal. I want to put it like beyond on the outside of my modal here. It's a dark striped. So now I've got this kind of table in here. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to also add maybe a margin top on this so it'll spread out. And so if I look at my page now I've got this like styled striped table right here inside of Bootstrap.
It's great because it just gives you an awesome jumping off point.
Bootstrap, see, it's all responsive, man. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's great. Show them my favorite thing.
What's your favorite thing?
The landing page.
The
landing page.
We'll get there. Yeah,
it's my favorite thing.
All right, so we've also got some things in here that are opinionated, which means like we design them, and so like, but we think they're cool. So one I've got is this login page. So I'm going to have this login form.
Oh yeah, this one's good too. I like this too. Hey, I think we lost Bobby. I think I'm still here. I think I'm still live. Let me just check real quick. Yep. We are. I'm still here. Let's wait for him to come back. Let me show you real quick. Oh, I can't show you the same demo. I'm not prepped. to show you. So let's see if we can get him back. And let me show you real quick on here what I can show you. Look, is if I go to this page, can see. Oh, look, some of you guys installed it. Thank you. If you do like it too, by the way, give us a 5 stars. That would actually help us as well. That'd be very, very cool. So what you can see on here is some other examples too of other things you can actually do with this. Look, so there's some nav things you can do. There's just a basic template, and then these static pages, which he was going to show you. He was going to show you this one right here, which is great. It's like it's seriously just one little command, and then it creates this entire login page, which is super cool. And then this landing page, which is going to show you as well. It's just one little command, and the landing page just generates. Fully responsive, ready for you to basically work with design. And some of these things we're going to use, obviously, in the course, but it's also just useful anyway. But we thought, we wanted to use some very specific things for the course. So this serves 2 purposes. Obviously, you can use it outside of the course. It's good just for creating these quick Bootstrap pages, these cards, and these accordions, and Jumbotrons, which, by the way, they got rid of Jumbotrons in Bootstrap 5. It's no longer a real thing. So we kind of created our own version of one. They have you kind of cobble these together now. So we created our own version of one, and then obviously quick modals and tables that are pre-designed. It's pretty cool. It's got some cool stuff in it. Like I said, so cool even I can use it. So it can't be that difficult to do if I can manage to get my way through it. And it's in VS Code, so I put the link in the chat so you can find it down there. You can also find it through VS Code through the thing there too.
Did I get kicked? I didn't know I got kicked.
Yeah, you did. Hold on.
Right.
Let me pull you back. I was just talking through the page here. Hold on. There you go. You're back.
All right. So I don't know where I was. What was the last thing I showed? How long ago did I get kicked?
You had a blank screen just like that.
Okay. So one of the things that that we also built is one of the things we encourage you is if you build applications in the bootcamp, and whether you're doing it in our bootcamp or somewhere else, all those apps should be branded like a commercial grade project, and you need a landing page. And so we help this by putting together an opinion template called a landing page. And you can check it out here. It's kind of neat. And let's refresh it here. See, now we have this really well-designed kind of landing page. Ready for you to add your demo links to the page of the app itself, maybe a little bit about you. We also encourage you to, and for some apps that matter, maybe push them to the repo, those things like that. Tell them about what it's built in.
See, I think that's cool. To me, it feels like magic.
It is magic, and you can see here too. It's like it's all responsive. So as I scale this out, it scales back in, and that's just the magic of Bootstrap and CSS. So that's our little sweet little demo, man. It's kind of cool.
I like it. Yeah, that's neat. It's like I said, it's so easy, even I can use it.
Yeah. So I'll do one final one here. BSCF dash. We'll go back to our template here, and I'm going to dark. Just show you some other things that we can do, and I'm going to add in one final thing here, and then we can answer any questions inside the container here. I'm going to add an accordion because remember I was trying to make those accordions the other day.
Right. So maybe put that Star Wars disclaimer back up again.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have the Star Wars movie here. But you can see now I've got this sweet accordion in here now.
It's great, and it just gives you like just a simple like jumping off point to be like, okay, now I can manipulate the data in here and not have to start with a blank piece of paper.
Or get all my divs correct and all that
right,
kind of stuff. As
right.
You can see,
yeah.
There's quite a lot of HTML into an accordion.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can go to Bootstrap and pull these examples in yourself, but this makes it convenient right from your IDE or your code editor like VS Code.
And many of these examples are just the straight Bootstrap examples, right?
Yeah.
And then some of them, like you said, the landing page is an opinionated version of it. So we've created those ones and designed those a little bit. But a lot of it is just straight up like what Bootstrap can do for you if you know what you're doing and you're cutting and pasting stuff in and putting it in the right spot. But this just makes it easy. We
brought back some stuff that they took out. I mean, like if I go in here and just take all of this out.
I was talking about this when you froze about the Jumbotron.
Yeah, jumbos aren't in there, so let's just
Yeah.
add a jumbotron, man. Let's just do that. Um, so we just made one. If I could type today, so now it makes a cool jumbotron.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of dark.
But
kind of
yeah,
works.
but here you go. You can style that up from here on out. It gives you
Yeah.
a kind of a core something to work with. I like that. Oh, here's a good
Yeah.
question for you.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to
Okay.
know. So here's the plugin only for VS Code or Visual Studio as well.
It's going to be coming out for. Let me go back to my screen here. It's going to come out for Visual Studio as well. There's a little bit different the way you package them up for Visual Studio versus VS Code, so it's a little bit different. So we'll definitely do that.
But yes, we are going to have both. We're going to be using both in the course, so we are going to have both.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's VS Code because that's where we're kind of starting, and that's what we needed to start with.
And you can download it today. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, man. I mean, it's just a free extension. We're hoping to have the most downloaded Bootstrap 5 plugin on the market. Of course, people's got us, 22,000 downloads, but we can get surely we'll have that done by the end of the day, right? So.
Sure, why not? The end of this session, maybe. I don't know. By the time we're off here.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty cool. We're going to continually add to it because it's kind of when we make templates in class or we make things in class, or we'll probably add it as a new feature in our extension so that our students can just grab code from us for Bootstrap templating, things like that. Yep. We'll probably cover like the 8 templates every Bootstrap developer should know.
I like that.
Yeah. So and then we'll put them all in there that are just different layouts, and they're opinionated. Yeah. It's got a left nav and a top nav maybe, and then an aside on the right hand side, like if you're doing a blog or something like that. But we just want to build tools that help you in your learning journey, and Bootstrap 5 is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Q&A.
Any
you
questions
guys
there?
have questions, throw them in chat. I will queue them up just as normal, and we do have some here. Let's start out with one that's actually about the course, being that we're talking about the course to start off with. Antonio wants to know, questions on the course, will you guys give more insight on a typical workday as a developer for us newbies, workflow, teams, deadlines, etc.? I think that would be good.
I can speak to what it's like here in the U.S. I think what you're looking for in general is 40-hour work weeks, maybe a 50-hour work week here in the U.S. And then you typically have deadlines that could be weekly. I think most teams now are doing sprints, and that could be a week to 2 weeks to a month, but no longer than that. And then you work with the teams to build things out. So you're going to be using things like Git, probably Jira as well to get tickets assigned to you or something like that. And then you work on those during the week and get your things pushed back out to the build server, and then they try to build it, and then they push it in production. And then there's a lot of teams that may be more relaxed, where everything's kind of loosey goosey, kind of like.
I think that's kind of one of the problems with this, isn't it? It's like you can't. Is there a typical workday? I mean, we kind of. It's not. I can tell you, it's not really going to be part of the course. Part of the course is really the getting of the job, not necessarily what happens after the getting of the job. We're taking it further than, we're not just, so the course isn't just learn how to code, it's learn how to build projects and then also turn that into getting a job. And what we don't do with the course is take it to that next part, because that next part's so varied, right?
It's I would think too, for most newbies, you're not working on new things, you're fixing things, you're in maintenance mode. And so you're getting an established code base, and they assign you bugs or defects or maybe enhancements, and you change that code base is already there to make it work within that code base, and then you roll it out. And that can be sometimes difficult, and sometimes it can be easy and fun, but overall, you're writing code all day long. I mean, that's kind of what you do. And in a weird way, the better you get at coding, the more important you become, the more meetings you get stuck in. So in the US anyway.
That seems to be a common through most careers, isn't it? It's like the higher you get up in something, basically the more meetings you have and the less work
more
you do.
meetings you
I don't want to
have.
say like the less. I say the less work you do, but that's
Yeah, it's all work. It's just
it's
less
all work,
coding.
but it's
So,
exactly yeah. Okay. Let me see. Austin here says just throwing this out there. Blazor is sick. Started working with it the other day. I hope JavaScript dies. I don't think it's going to. I think we're stuck with JavaScript.
Blazor is slick though, man. It is sweet. It's very cool. I'm not gonna give my opinion on what I think is gonna happen to JavaScript, but I don't think it's gonna die anytime soon. But
Right.
WebAssembly is definitely a new way to run code in the browser that's not JavaScript.
Right.
So whether that be Blazor or Rust or whatever that's going to be, whoever wins the day, that I do think you're seeing maybe you'll see a shift away from building things in JavaScript and building things in WebAssembly. So I think, but I don't think that's next week.
I think you talked about this already.
Yes, we're using .NET 5. We're using .NET 5 right now in our current bootcamp. All right, Thank you. You're welcome for answering your question. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonio. We appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for the question too, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
If you guys don't ask questions, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Yeah, you guys keep asking us questions. All right, so we got Choco money now, Kevin. So that's good. We can leave now.
There you go. We can eat. We weren't going to eat before. I never like to come on and say we're not going to have lunch because we haven't got money to buy lunch, but because that's just wrong.
No, yeah. So Rudy, what we think in .NET 5 is the future. .NET 6 is going to be released in November, and so our goal in our self-paced course is to keep up with that change going on inside of Microsoft. We think it's very important to work on the latest release of .NET because that's where the industry will go to. Now, will people be using .NET 5 for the next 24 months? Absolutely 100%, because you can't shift every project. But new work will definitely be in .NET 6. And there's a lot of things coming down the pipe that make switching over kind of like it could be very beneficial.
And speaking of that, do you know if you played with this at all yet? This is what's new in.
Not yet. So we're waiting for just a couple more. We'll be in July. We're heavy down into .NET 6.
Are we still in alpha?
In general, it's Maui. Maui is the big thing that's coming down the pipe, which is cross-platform on the desktop. So like you'll see things like mobile, iOS, Windows, and Mac OS all from the same code base. And so like I can build that. So the Xamarin tooling, which we called Xamarin previously, is now being folded into the .NET 6 platform so that when you're building these UIs, then you build them out in a common way, and then it gets pushed to the platform that you're compiling to. And so that's super exciting. Before, cross-platform meant iOS and Android, and on the website it meant I can push it on an Apache server or some kind of Linux server and a Windows server, and that's what cross-platform really meant. And now they're kind of bringing that all home to where now if you're building a Windows or a desktop, I call it Windows, but a desktop application that could run on Windows and Mac OS and mobile devices, and that's kind of cool. That's very exciting.
That's very cool. So actually, I'm just looking here. It looks like we're up to preview 3 on .NET 6. So this was back in April 8th.
Yeah.
So and the one before that was March, and then we had one in February. So
I think they're announcing
Visual
about
Studio
one a month. 2022. The tooling will be previewed sometime in July. So like we'll be able to see the tooling in July, and that's when we'll start looking at what we're going to do with the course, because we'll have to record everything in Visual Studio 2022. So we can need to wait till that's at least somewhat stable to be able to actually just start recording around it.
Right. Okay. So while we're talking about this, Kev says, so goodbye Xamarin. Hold on.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Start a Xamarin project at this point.
Yeah. Yes. 100%, because it's going to like move over to this. So, but you can definitely start a project in Xamarin at this point. And I just think it's going to be renamed. That's all I'm saying.
Right. It's the same kind of thing. It's just going to, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to target the
.NET
6 framework with your Xamarin project sometime next year. But like that doesn't mean that this thing that you're building now won't port. It absolutely will port. So, and then you can look for guidance from those guys like what should you do. But hey, if you've got a mobile app that you want to build and you want to release it this year, build it in Xamarin and then figure out when the next release is. You don't need to wait for the next release of everything. Just build what you got today with what's available today, and then just move it. Just keep moving forward, because everything you learn right now, since you're getting a tutorial, will definitely really apply to what they're doing in .NET 6. Yeah, there'll be some changes for the good, we hope. And then, but what you know about XAML and those kind of things will pretty much port over to the new version.
Okay. Let's go for the next one here. So Satish has a couple things here. Let me see here. Oh, no, what do I do with that? Hold on, I gotta pull this comment back again. Sometimes they disappear when user error happens.
All right.
And I hit the wrong button. Here we go. So Satish wants to know, so he has a basic understanding in C# or C in Java, sorry. I didn't pursue graduation from computer science, but now looking at game programming and development as an alternative source of income. And wants to know, is confused about what my approach should be. So you have any advice for him on his approach? He wants to do this part-time and earn some side money.
Yeah, so like if you're going to do that, you need to be looking at Unity, and I think Unity and C# is where you need to start. And I think that's kind of the gaming platform of choice for indie developers.
I mean, if you're doing it part-time too, you got to, I mean, it's the same thing, right? You've got to put something out, so you got to make something. You got to get something in the App Store. And
then, hopefully you can get something in Steam or on the App Store, or if you're looking at mobile games or desktop games, I'm not sure which one you're looking at. All of those can be built with Unity, and that's the tooling is what you need to like. So invest your time and learn is Unity and C#, and I think that will serve you well. Most of the indie developers are using Unity, so you can do it.
Yep. Let's see. Yardlist wants to know, can we have a cheat sheet? Bootstrap 5 code snippets.
Yeah,
we have this, right? We're working on this, right?
Let me share my screen again, Kevin.
Go on then.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so like this is kind of built into this. So like you don't need paper. You just type in BSCF dash, and you can see here it's got all of the things that you can do right here, and it gives you a description of what's happening right here, of what this is, and the actual HTML it's going to generate. But we will definitely, if you go in here, we'll update our documentation page right here that will show you kind of what you can do, and I'll add all the commands here.
Yeah, we're going to put we're probably going to put a list of all the commands right there with just the descriptions. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to create. If you just want to
explore it, just type in BSCF. That's what you need to know, and then everything is here, and it's in alphabetical order. So, if you want to know how to put a card in there, so we can add a little card here. So what do we got here? Div
the cool thing about this, you can just add it real quick, and if it's not what you wanted, you just delete it. It's kind of easy to use.
BSCF-card, and we'll just do image, do something like that. And then when I look over here, now I've got this kind of card title going on. That's humongously big.
That is a big image, but you kind of get the idea.
I put the image in there. That's just really big. That's because it's in there, so that's not kind of what I want. But like,
there you go. If you didn't want that, you would just take that out, and then
I can just take
whatever
this
you
out
did want.
Here. So that's humongously big. Something like that. You can see better what a card does. So now we got a card. It's kind of cool. But so basically all you need is the BSCF command, and you'll be good.
Yep. That's it. Okay.
So I think that's for now. That can show you kind of how to get after it.
Okay. Paul has a question for us in 3 parts. I think he might be fishing for content here. Not sure. He says, "What 3 things should one have to make a recruiter's job easier when trying to get hired?" You want 3 things, Paul? What's wrong with 1? Like, let's give it to him. 3 things.
So I'll come up with 3 things, Paul, and you can invite me on your show, and I'll discuss them with you. But like, the one thing that you gotta have is a portfolio, and then the second thing onside that portfolio, a project that you can demo. The third thing is having a resume that also highlights the portfolio so that it's easy to find. So there's 3 things that I think you need to do. The second one's more of an action than a thing. But
I would also say you've got to have a LinkedIn.
Yeah, and a LinkedIn is definitely. If you don't have a LinkedIn, they're not gonna find you anyway. So
you're right. You're right. You're not even right. But if you're reaching out to one of them, let's say, and you don't have a LinkedIn, they're gonna want to connect with you on there anyway. So you're gonna have one. That's
and LinkedIn should have your portfolio, your skills, easily identified skills section. Your portfolio should have a skills section on it, and then you need to sell those projects hard. That's your job, is to demo during those interviews, to sell those projects hard. And I think if you do those things, you'll have more success than not. Hope that helped.
There you go. Let's see. Rudy says, in a professional setting, can VS Code be as productive as VS with additions? So I think you should say how you use VS Code, because you use both.
Yeah, I use both. So for Visual Studio, when you're building an MVC or a web application, Visual Studio is a superior tool to VS Code right out of the box. I mean, and I think it always will be. VS Code is a fantastic code editor. So if you're building things like JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, it is fantastic at that. It has great debug support. There's a lot of things that are really fantastic about VS Code. When you move over to, I'm building MVC, and I've got controllers and C# and Indie Framework, and I'm using scaffolding. I need the debugger, those kind of things. I need the full integrate that, just some niceties in CSS that it just does well. I don't know why Visual Studio doesn't do all those things out of the box. It just doesn't. So.
Right.
So I use them both.
Right. Okay. Course question. Back to one of these. Wilfredo wants to know, are we going to have group projects in the course?
I believe that group projects are bad. I mean, I just do, especially in a learning setting. Not in a professional setting, but like in a learning setting, you need to do all your own work. It doesn't mean that you can't group up with people, but like when people check the work that 3 people generated, typically it's one person did all the work and the other people didn't do much at all. So like we want to make sure that you have ample opportunity to learn on your own and build your own projects, because you're going to show these projects on a portfolio. I've tried group projects and it just seems like some people get left out. And they don't learn as much as they would on a solo project by themselves. So we don't do that.
Yeah, and we actually don't do that in our in-person course or the virtual course.
No,
like any course that we've ever done in the past, we've not really done group projects. There are some elements that we group people together for, but it's not a group project. I wouldn't call it that. I would call them mini group exercises, maybe. But the output is never as a group. I should say that.
Right.
So. Okay. Oh, it's an interesting question. We've had this one quite a few times in the past, but it seems to come up every so often. Mac wants to know, what's the 59. Oldest entry-level developer you guys have seen hired?
I think it's 59, and it could have been 63, but it's somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I only remember like one off the top of my head, but we've had a few older people come through the course, definitely. And I just remember one because it was more recent, that's all. But I'm not sure on the oldest, but certainly ones that are in their late 50s and early 60s. I think that's probably the oldest. I mean, definitely pre-retirement age. I don't think we've had anybody post-retirement come and then get a job.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think anybody over 65, that's for sure. But it's been up there. We've also had people on the other end of this that have come in at 27 and asked us the question at the interview and been like, man, am I like too old to learn this? Like, too old? Are you kidding me? Like,
just starting out.
A lot of people start in their 30s. Ask Paul. Ask Coding After 30. He's the perfect example. He's literally in his name.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Drew Mac.
Let's see. Paul also wants to know, how did you guys come up with the idea to build a bug tracker? Let's get into your mind here. Such a brilliant idea to showcase a wide variety of coding topics.
I don't know what genesis the idea. I really don't know. I mean, like, I just come through and like the way I approach course development is, what can I build that a lot of people could understand what I built? And so, like, I approach it like this: if you're a Cubs fan and you see someone else walking down the street with a Cubs hat on, you know you have a shared interest about baseball, and that you can probably talk a little bit about baseball, and you kind of know each other. The problem I had with people just launching into their own project is typically the project ideas where they lean towards, how do I say this politely, like toyish
Toy.
or not
Toy.
serious, or the business problem they're solving is kind of like, really, that's a problem? I mean, like, that's not really. And so, like, so what happens is, let's say that you made the coolest piece of software ever. It's really, really cool. And I get pushback on this all the time. Okay. And when I say don't build your passion project, people just rail against me. Like,
all the time. You could put out that tweet right now on Twitter and somebody would be like, that's the dumbest idea ever. If you're not passionate about it, you shouldn't build it.
What? Yes, you should. I'm not passionate about inventory control systems. Just someone paid me a lot of money to do it. So, like, I mean, like, so, like, I think that's where the misnomer is. And so what I'm trying to achieve with the bug tracker is, you build a project that the hiring manager recognizes the problem in.
Yeah.
And if your problem that you're solving comes across as juvenile or just what they think is outright
obscure,
dumb, I don't get that.
Or even obscure.
It
It could be. Sometimes we've had people who have built projects that have been like just so niche that only 10 people in the world understand it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I can remember interviewing a younger person I was at an event for UNCG, and he was showing me his stuff, and I was just helping out UNCG, and it was like a pitch session, and they were pitching their things. And I can remember, this is kind of where the idea came from. So he showed me this, and he says, I know that you're older, and so you don't understand what Tinder is, but you know what swipe left and swipe right is. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but I knew what Tinder was. Like, that's like, you insulted me, but that's okay. And so, like, my thing is Tinder for, and I don't even remember what it was for, but it was just a swipe right and swipe left thing. And all I can remember thinking was, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. Like, why? And so that's where it started thinking that if your project is seemingly juvenile, or the problem it solves is kind of dumb, or it loses the audience, then they're going to think the programmer isn't up here at a high level. But if you're showing something that they understand, and you play to the audience when you're doing your demo, and they understand a bug tracker and they get it, and you have some cool ideas around the bug tracker and it works really well, they're like, wow, this guy can code, or this girl can code. And I think that is where the bug tracker comes in. It just gives you a familiarity with the problem instead of something brand freaking new. This is, Twitter for, dogs or something like that, like,
right.
Yeah. So I tweet for my dog account for me. And so, I think you build something that's recognizable instantly. They understand the problem instantly. And every development team that you interview with has some kind of bug tracker system. So you just build one that something they've seen before. And so many people, Kevin, they respond to us like, why would I build that? It's already been built. That's been built 1,000 times. We're like, that's not the point.
No, they misunderstand the point. The point is to make something unique and new. The point is to make something that's already been built before, that has a frame of reference that the person can actually relate to. That is literally the point. Yeah, people just...
it's not to set a trend. I mean, like, if you're a trendsetter and you truly have invented something new, then you need to go build that out totally and then go sell that marketplace. You're not looking
that's
for
a
work.
different ask.
People that are looking for work, and they're not trying to start their own software company. So I just think that it is a really good idea, Paul. It just comes from a lot of just experience of things I've run into. But I think most of it came from that UNCG experience where I was at a pitch contest and the guy's app was dumb. I mean, like, it was just crazy dumb. I'm like, I don't even remember what it was. It was that bad, So like, and I thought if you're interviewing for a job, show them something they can understand. If you have to explain what it does while you're insulting them because they didn't understand it, it just lost on the audience, So.
Yeah. Oh, here's something related too. Look, Roy wants to know: do clone websites have any place on a portfolio? Obviously, new applications are best, but does showing you can replicate a design hold merit to recruiters?
Here's what I would say about clone websites for being a designer. Okay. I wouldn't clone a website verbatim. I would make a gym website that was fully functional and built out, though. But I wouldn't copy Peloton's website, for example, just to show you that I could do that. If that's what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about applications and making like a Twitter clone or a Facebook clone, that's what I'm doing with the Bow Tracker. I just made my own. And so like those are relevant. But make sure that whatever you clone is functional. So what I do see is people, especially on the front end crowds, people that are just coming on front ends, they're showing like gym websites that are really templates, and it's got Lorem Ipsum everywhere, and it's just not filled out at all. Like it's just not a complete website. So I think it should look completely real and completely beneficial with working content forms and everything, so that you can show that you can actually take an idea from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's powerful, definitely.
You can write the content, you can write this things like that. So yeah, I think it should work all the way from beginning to end.
MSV wants a sneak peek of what's coming for next year.
Okay. Our self-paced course is the main thing we're doing this year and next year. So like that's kind of what we're doing.
We're going to be expanding on that self-paced course. That's what we've promised that. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be adding in additional front-end frameworks and additional modules to that, which will all be part of the, you guys, everybody that's bought it gets all that stuff all rolled in. So yeah, that's kind of our work for the next year. And maybe we'll have a new line of, what should we have a new line of?
I don't know.
Crazy drones that do 13,000 miles an hour.
In the wind.
The CF drone. That's what we're working on.
Our drone can pull 750 Gs instead of that crappy 700 Gs one.
Yeah. We're gonna make a better drone than the one on 60 Minutes. That's what we're doing over the next year. Just a little thing, just to keep us
stave off the alien invasion.
Okay. Hammers wants to know. Cool stream. Thank you, and thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Wants to know, pretty good at HTML and CSS. What should I learn next?
JavaScript, if you're going to build websites. So since you're doing HTML and CSS, that's kind of your goal. So you need to learn JavaScript next. That's the next thing. Don't listen to the people that doesn't matter what order you learn stuff in. Like, it's like, you just need to learn JavaScript next, man. I mean, like, it's just what you're going to use a lot of, and regardless if you're front end, back end, or somewhere in the middle. You're going to have to understand JavaScript. It also will help you in your career. Even if I've met plenty of back-end coding guys that, can't sell an element ID. They say, I'm just not going to learn that. I'm like, dude, you have to learn it, man. You just limit your opportunities by not doing that. So learn JavaScript. And then learn a server-side language like C#.
Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, let's say, you teach us how to create a code snippet, VS Code 2. Is there a process to create an amazing Bootstrap script like the one that we created? So, you guys, Drew created this on staff. So and Drew's actually going to be, and it's super good. He did a super good job with this. And he's actually going to be somebody who's going to be one of the people that's going to be helping you with the self-paced course too, like answer questions and that kind of stuff. So you're going to get familiar with Drew if you don't already know him. Drew's one of the instructors at Coder Foundry, and he created this. Do you know about the process for creating this, just off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, I know.
You're very familiar with it.
Now. So there's a couple of things that you have to do to compile it, to get it working. I won't go into that, but there's a lot of videos out there. But in general, the main part of it is you end up coding the snippets in JSON files.
Oh, that was it. I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
So I don't have that on my.
Right.
Don't think
That's
I
how
have
you
that on my
feed
list.
it the snippets, right? So that it can tie
Yeah.
to the commands.
Yeah. So it's not as cool as you think. So
But there was kind of a process to get it up there, though, right? That was more of
yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, it's a process to get up there. I'm just saying if I had one to show you, because we're gonna actually release this.
Putting this
It'll
out
be
open
in
source,
GitHub.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is another cool thing about this. It'll be
Let me
out there. If
just-
you guys want to extend it or something.
Since you asked, this is probably just like not like good television, but you know, I think I can open a folder here.
They're not necessarily teaching you, but showing you a little bit behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's not as, I guess it's not glamorous at all. So,
no, but that's good to know. I kind of like that. I think that's interesting. I kind of like seeing behind the scenes a little bit sometimes.
Let me find this dumb thing. I wasn't ready to do this, so now I got to find it.
Well, we don't have to.
Ask another question. I'll come back to you.
We don't have to find that part. It's fine.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday, and I can tell you, it just looks like it's a JSON file with literally the code snippet in a JSON file. Like it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of hardcore.
But then Jason was talking about the process of getting it up there. Was that like a difficult thing to do?
So that was actually pretty easy, but like you have to do a couple things with it to make it do it, and then going to Visual Studio is another process. You have to package it into something called a BSIX file.
Okay.
And so there's a process to that was going into way more into that. So I'll do that later. But basically, you have JSON files and you're in there writing HTML in between. Double quotes. So it's
right.
It's like
it looked kind of messy, like it's going to get confusing.
It's very messy.
Like,
it's not like It's not clean. It's definitely file manipulation, and you just gotta get with it. So
right.
There's a lot of work, and then typically what I'm doing is I'm building things out in HTML and Bootstrap, and I'm running that in my code, and then. This will be funny. Then I send the HTML to Andrew, who puts it in JSON.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So he was figuring out the annoying part.
The annoying part that I didn't want to do. That's a
Yep.
total boss move there. But so and if Andrew's watching, thanks Andrew for doing all that work. So it's pretty good.
And if not, you'll go say thanks after this anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
So we have a couple questions about kind of the similar thing here. What's the hard time deciding between Angular, React, and Vue? What works best in the real world? And then also, Bitra had a question: Angular or React? So
they're both choices, and they're all three do the same thing. So like what you need to do with .NET and C# is learn Web API, and then you're going to back those front ends of either Angular, React, or Vue with Web API. So that's all of them work equally the same from that regard. I will say this: inside of Visual Studio, there is an Angular starter project and a React starter project.
Yeah. So there's no Vue one, is there?
No, there's not a Vue one. So, but that's just because Vue probably is a little bit smaller.
Okay.
And there's only so many templates that are going to stick into Visual Studio, and there's a lot of testing that goes involved. And so, and that could come down the pipe soon. But all of those are going to help you. Angular obviously is supported by Google, React's by Facebook, Vue's kind of this open source kind of thing that's has a smaller community. I think Vue's really cool. But in our self-paced course, we should we're going to release definitely React for sure.
Right.
In our course.
Yep. Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
Look, use React all the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like us coming on your channel, Paul, and hamming up C#, wouldn't it? Same thing.
That's it. There's nothing wrong with React. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and like you said, it is built in, so yeah, that's pretty cool. So there you go. It says there, and I'm assuming this was probably the case as well. Third party VS Studio template view.
Yeah, so like
It's
you
just
can
not baked
download.
in.
I was talking about like just installing it right out of the
Yeah,
box. But yeah, I'm sure there's some
which React and
templates
Angular are
for-
literally out of the box, right? You select them from the little box
Yeah.
that comes up, like the actual, and it says, oh, like
Right.
it's there from get go. You don't have to choose to install it.
Yeah, and one of the things that we want to do, I don't know if we're gonna get there, but they're kind of working on too, is converting all of our MVC and templates into Bootstrap 5. But we're gonna wait for Visual Studio 6 or 2022 under .NET 6 to come out to see if they change over to Bootstrap 5. If they don't, we're gonna make our templates for Bootstrap 5 because I'm tired of 4.3.
They're going to. It'll switch.
Yeah.
It'll switch
they'll
now.
switch
Now
it.
that Bootstrap 5 is officially out for
Yeah.
first like 1.0 proper release, it'll switch. I
Yeah.
think. I'd be shocked
Yeah.
if they don't.
But it's a lot of work when you look at scaffolding and a lot of the generation things. It's much more
Yeah.
than just a template.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, here's a good quick question. This one just came in, but I'm going to do this one because it's not what we normally get. Advice on what to wear to a tech interview. Don't want to overdress or underdress. Does being junior or senior have a difference?
I don't think you can overdress to the point of not wearing a tuxedo. But I think
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the overdress part, right? It's
Yeah.
like don't show up in a
Yeah,
tux, but wearing a suit is never going to be a bad thing. I don't care where you go.
So if you have a navy suit, I think that's what you roll with. Underdress, I think you definitely can underdress depending on the environment. You know, you can miss.
Can you show up
So
in
if you
flip flops
walk
and
in-
still get the job?
Yeah, so you can't don't show up to an interview in flip flops. So like, I think that's the thing that you shouldn't do. So I don't think you should underdress for an interview.
Yeah, underdressing is
T-shirts,
definitely
even
bad.
if they wear
Overdressing.
t-shirts, and even if they make fun of your suit lightly, they're not going to make fun of it. But they might say, "Oh, wow, we don't wear ties here." That's fine. That shows that you have a respect for them as an interviewer and as a company, and that it sets you apart. Now, if you walk in with a Iron Maiden T-shirt on and ripped jeans,
Yeah,
that tech interview better be good. I mean, like it just
yeah, you
knock
better
it out of the park.
know what you're doing.
Yeah,
because
because
that is true. It's like if you
Right.
do that and that is the culture there, I'm not saying that you won't get the job because they may be okay with that, but they may also not be. They're never gonna not be okay with you showing up like formal, at least in a suit. It's never gonna be frowned upon. It's just not gonna be like. It's just not.
Yeah. And I think the bare minimum in today, especially in the U.S. interviewing in the U.S., would be a long sleeve button down with khakis or some kind of slacks,
Yeah.
non-tennis shoes on the bottom, and it's neat and pressed and not like wrinkly. I think that's your bare minimum. But if you throw a jacket on top of that, even without a tie, a navy jacket with a button down, it definitely works.
I think often these days, if you're going to a more relaxed environment and you know that coming in, having just the jacket on without a tie works. It's
Exactly.
it's still relaxed,
Yeah.
but it's not overly dressed. I think that's fine. Oh, it's all white gloves. Hey, if you're going for eccentric, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
you want
man.
that? You want to be the weird dude in the office? Then have at it.
The white gloves,
Again,
jazz hands.
Again, I'm not saying you won't get hired. Maybe they'll find it fascinating,
Yeah.
but you're gonna lower your chances a little bit.
Yeah, unless you can do magic. I mean, you can say, "Listen, bug tracker."
Exactly. That would be great, wouldn't it? And all of a sudden, you pull a bug tracker out of a hat, and
Yeah, exactly.
and maybe it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, one last question here. We're a little bit over. This is a bootcamp question. So Zender wants to know, July 5th is the virtual bootcamp, and yes, it is. You can still apply for that. Where are we? Yeah, you can still apply for that. We still do have some seats available for the virtual bootcamp if you're interested in that. Codefoundry.com.
It's filling up fast, though. I mean, like we're interviewing every day now. So, like,
you're busy
if you
doing
want to
that.
be there for July 5th, you need to get in there this month.
Go to codefoundry.com/apply. You can apply for that. That is coming up on July 5th. So I think we're going to do virtual and in person.
No, it's just virtual. It's in-person virtual, which just means that you're on a Zoom call 8 hours a day with the instructors. We're never going to offer it on site here in Kernersville. Still to this day, I don't even know if we could still offer it even with, I mean, we've relaxed some guidance, but I don't know what the actual guidance is. And then we do have people from all over the country taking it. So there's no reason to do that anymore. So
Plus,
if
the
you're
other
in
issue
Greensboro or
is-
Winston-Salem, just take it virtually.
Exactly. And the other issue is, like, while we might be relaxing now, who knows what's happening here? Like, if we go all back on site again, all of a sudden we get something else happens, and it's like, and now they're like, you got to close down again, like the in-person thing. Like, that sucks. That just interrupts your flow. We know we can confidently give you everything that you need on virtual, the same as in person. Yeah. We know that's true. We've done it a few times now. And even from the get-go, if we weren't sure, we wouldn't have done it. So we're pretty confident in what you're going to get. So, yeah, we won't be in person. Probably, maybe never again.
Never again. I don't think so.
Yep.
It's hard to say never. So
it's hard to say never. You're right. But, yeah. Okay. One last one, just for the road, because it just came here.
Just
and
for
I
the
like
road.
it. Brandon wants to know, I need a great JavaScript project to put on my portfolio today in 2021. What should I build?
I think a mortgage loan calculator is good. I mean, we built that out and learn how to, maybe they could save the loans into a loan portfolio using local storage. They could come back to and revisit them. If you want to take it to the next level, you can integrate an API for rates if you want to make it real, things like that. Or you could also bring in API for cars and make a fake car site that they can pick the car, the model they want, and then they can apply for the loan right there. So there's a lot of ways you could go with that.
Yep. And again, this fills the same criteria as the bug tracker does, because everybody's familiar with it. Like, everybody that's ever done any kind of, like, most people in their life at some point are going to get a car or buy a house or whatever it is, and you got to go through this, like, loan calculator process. So you should be kind of familiar with it, and you're kind of familiar with what to expect from it. So that makes it a powerful app, too, to build.
And the math that you can find, Brandon, you can just Google how to do that, the math part of it, and how to figure out mortgage payments.
Yeah, because you need, like, the compound interest and that kind of stuff, don't you? It's like, it's not as simple as just, Yep. Okay, cool. We'll be back on Thursday. We're going to talk more about the raid.
The raid on Thursday. We'll reveal the other cards, the other team cards that we have. And, if you want to watch our clan, I don't know if you know our clan name. Have I ever told you what our clan name was?
I don't know. Tell me, and I'll tell you if I have.
Hive Guys, Burgers, and Fries.
You haven't told me that. I would have definitely remembered that.
I think we have the best clan name in all of Destiny. So funny. I can't say it's something I thought of. I just joined it, but like the Hive Guys, Burgers, and Fries.
Hold on, are these guys like professional gamers you've got that are just going to carry you through this thing? Is that what we're talking about here? Because that's the way I would roll.
Don't blow them up that much, man. I'll never hear their end of it. So like they're watching today. So like
okay.
Yeah, they're good at it. They're good. They're good players, and we'll definitely win.
Okay. See, that's what I would do. I just align myself with players who are way better than me, and then just carry me on through it.
I mean, if Dado, Aztec Cross, and like Mr. Fruit want to join, I'm sure I could find room on the team and kick a few to the curb.
Oh, you're kicking these guys out already. This is not good.
For Dado, yeah, but Dado's not joining my team, so
that's funny. That's funny. Cool. So right. So we'll talk about that on Thursday.
See you on Thursday.
We'll see you guys later.
Good luck and keep coding. See you.